Hello there, you're watching WION The World is One. Time now for the next episode of World of Africa. I'm Eric Njoka. Now this week, Benin is seeking to combat negative stereotypes of Voodoo, a 500-year-old religion that celebrates a rich pantheon of deities and spirits. Despite the event attracting tourists from around the world, the association of the cult to witchcraft is still proving a challenge for the Beninois to dispel. We'll talk about that shortly. The show starts right now. Rwandan President Paul Kagame has urged Congolese authorities to negotiate with a violent rebel group that has seized key towns in eastern Congo in recent days, widening its control over the region which borders Rwanda. M23 is the most prominent of the more than 100 armed groups vying for a foothold in the mineral-rich area near the Congolese border with Rwanda, where more than 1 million people were displaced by fighting last year. Here is our cover report. Life seems almost normal in the streets of Lubero, but the calm is deceptive. The town, nestled in the forested, misty hills of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, is under threat from the advancing rebel militia. For 30 years, the mineral-rich East has suffered from the ravages of fighting between local and foreign armed groups dating back to the regional wars of the 1990s. Despite the fighting ongoing, the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo says the country is determined to recover the areas occupied by the M23 or the March 23 movement rebellion at a press conference.
Fights are continuing, and the loyalist forces are determined once and for all to liberate this part of the country, despite the reinforcements from the terrorists who continue to arrive, and above all, the reinforcements from the regular Rwandan army who continue to pour into our territory.
More and more voices are now being raised, and above all, they are disassociating themselves from Rwanda, which is now an isolated nation that must bear the political cost of its choices.
Rwanda-backed rebels known as the March 23 movement since 2021 have seized swathes of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, displacing thousands and triggering a humanitarian crisis. Rwandan President Paul Kagame says that recent peace talks with Democratic Republic of Congo had been merely a photo opportunity for leaders and demanded new efforts to solve their deadly conflict. Peace talks hosted by Angola were cancelled at the last minute in December when leaders hit a deadlock over a Rwandan demand that Congolese negotiators talk directly with rebels operating on their territory.
This problem is not insurmountable. It can be addressed. It can end. It should have ended in actual fact long ago. But you can't end it by manipulation. You can't end it by playing games.
We are really suffering from the plundering, and those who are doing the plundering is our military. We can't say anything because on one hand we are afraid of the M23 and on the other hand we are afraid of our military. We don't know what to do anymore. We don't know where to go. Being afraid of the enemy and being afraid of our own, we now have hard problems.
Congo accuses Rwanda of backing M23 and has repeatedly rejected Kagame's advice to negotiate with the rebels. United Nations experts estimate there are up to 4,000 Rwandan forces in Congo. Africa Bureau, WION, World is One. Civilians and soldiers celebrated in Wad Madani, the capital of Sudan's El Gezira state, after it was recaptured by the Sudanese army from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, marking a possible turning point in a devastating near 2-year war. The war began in the capital Khartoum in April 2023 over the integration of the Sudan Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Services, or forces. It has created one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, pushing more than 12 million people out of their homes and plunging half of the population into hunger.
Civilians and soldiers in Port Sudan celebrated on after the country's army announced that it had advanced to retake the city of Wad Madani from paramilitary rivals, the Rapid Support Forces RSF. Soldiers were carried on the shoulders of crowds in the country's de facto capital and the seat of the army-controlled government. Sudan's army said it had entered the central city of Wad Madani and was pushing out the RSF, a step which, if completed successfully, would be its biggest gain in nearly 2 years of war. The same scenes of jubilation were witnessed in the key city of Wad Madani. Recapture of the state as a whole could mark a turning point in the war that began in April 2023 over disputes on the integration of the two forces.
Those people exhausted us in Madani. They looted our belongings and warehouses. They break into the houses, and in case if they don't find anything, they beat people. We left our sons at homes. We, the women, would go out to get food and drinks. We bring stuff at our brothers to eat with us at home. The RSF left us with nothing.
The RSF denies committing these abuses and says any rogue actors will be brought to justice. This has created one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, with the displacement of more than 12 million people and half the population facing hunger.
We lived bitter years with infidels. Thank God. Today we thank God. We got out of darkness to light.
Safety is restored, thank God, with the control of the armed forces and all its allies inside Al Jazeera state. We are talking to you from inside Madani. We tell any person, thank God that this city is safe. People can go back to their homes. Thank God they can come safely.
Al Jazeera state, located in the center of the country and south of the capital Khartoum, has seen some of the RSF's bloodiest attacks on civilians, as well as the burning of fields, looting of hospitals and markets, and flooding of irrigation ditches. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
Voodoo is an ancient belief system practiced by more than 65% out of 7 million Beninois and millions of Nigeria, Togo and Ghana, as well as in the Caribbean, where it took root among enslaved Africans and evolved into distinct traditions such as Haitian Voodoo. Despite the external criticism and stigma attached to Voodoo, it's an official religion in Benin, and they marked a festival to celebrate it.
Every January for the past 15 years, hundreds have participated in Benin's famed Voodoo festival. Participants gather at the door of no return, an arch built by the beach in southern Benin in memory of those who crammed onto slave ships bound for the New World. Voodoo, known locally as Voodoo, is a religion that worships gods and natural spirits along with respect for revered ancestors. It originated in the Dahomey Kingdom, present-day Benin and Togo, and is still widely practiced sometimes alongside Christianity in coastal towns like this one, where memorials to the slave trade are dotted around the small beach settlement.
Imagine a Voodoo ceremony without all those people singing panegyrics As you can see, most of them are women because they are the ones who will carry the energy with the tom-tom. Don't forget that it is all a question of vibration, energy and frequency. So women, through their voices, through their hearts, give the energy and frequency necessary for the manifestation of divine energy.
Women play a central role in this 3-day festive celebration. They are cast in the role of guardians of spiritual transmission and preparation of the rituals of Voodoo, an animist rite founded on the powers of nature and links back to one's ancestors. The Vodun Day's rituals bring thousands of people from all corners of the globe to this town called Ouida, the cradle of Voodoo.
I'm in the process of concentrating and learning a lot of things so that I can progress in Vodun and take on the role that suits me in the future, because I have a big role, so I have to start learning the tricks little by little until I'm up to speed.
The event is a huge crowd puller and one of the biggest attractions for tourists in Benin. According to the country's culture minister, missions imparted to women for the organization of Voodoo rites are numerous and important. But the exact nature of some of these may not be revealed owing to rules of secrecy surrounding the rituals.
When you arrive as a novice, you have to learn the language of the Vodun, corresponding to your initiatory journey. You have to learn rituals, you have to learn songs, panegyrics, and it's always a woman of a certain, I'd say, rank in Vodun who takes charge of you and carries you through your initiation.
Some celebrations at the festival are dedicated specifically to female divinities, such as Mami Wata and Sakpata, underlining the importance of women's role both in Voodoo and the collective cultural imagination. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
Let's move to East Africa now. Climate change has impacted farmers, increasing pests, diseases, and irregular weather patterns, often driving them into debt and poverty. Researchers across Africa are exploring various solutions, including introducing resilient crops in climate-affected areas and leveraging technology. One of them is the use of AI applications in Busia, an area identified as food insecure in West Kenya.
Roslyn Akochi, a smallholder farmer in Western Kenya, scans her cassava crop with a smartphone. The app, developed by non-profit organization Plant Village, offers real-time solutions to crop health issues, a boon for farmers like Akochi, who have long struggled with identifying diseased plants. Akochi uses artificial intelligence to instantly diagnose plant diseases and pests. The technology provides resources on sourcing quality seeds, land preparation methods, and access to agricultural specialists.
This phone app has made my work so easy. I don't have to go far or look for someone for advice or use any transport money. It's just me in the farm and my phone. Normally I wake up in the morning before the sun is too hot and survey my farm. This I do twice every week. The phone app shows me how my plants are doing, how they are growing.
Experts say Africa requires an annual investment of $77 billion to enhance farming practices, boost yields, and improve agricultural supply chains to address food insecurity. Smallholder farmers like Akochi, who typically work on less than 2-acre farms, produce 80% of food consumed in Africa. Many lack modern farming expertise and resources. Climate change has further impacted these farmers, increasing pests, diseases, and irregular weather patterns, often driving them into debt and poverty.
49% of the AIs being deployed in Africa are based on agriculture. And the reason why we are focusing on agriculture is because of the increased population and also the challenges that are being brought by climate change. You'll see that there's a lot of pests and diseases that are emerging and are affecting our crops. And we want to make sure that we provide solution. We want to make sure that farmers have access.
Researchers across Africa are exploring various solutions, including introducing resilient crops in climate-affected areas and leveraging technology. Many experts believe AI has great potential due to its accessibility, customization, and affordability. However, barriers to technology adoption, such as lack of smartphone access, persist in Africa. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
A privately owned development outside the Kenyan capital is attracting residents and businesses with its strict rules and modern infrastructure, like you see here. More than 5,000 people are already living in Tatu city, and the company behind the project hopes that it will one day host 250,000 and serve as a model for Africa's urban future. Here's a report from Nairobi.
Turn into Tatu city on the outskirts of Kenya's capital Nairobi, and it feels like entering a different world. Even the country's most reckless drivers are transformed, slowing to a crawl and not tossing trash out of the window, thanks to ubiquitous cameras and rigorously enforced penalties for speeding and littering. For the 5,000 people who have moved into Tatu, a startup city that welcomed its first residents 4 years ago, it is the ruthless upholding of such rules that makes the place so appealing.
I feel like Tatu has more law and order than other places, because you'll realize in other estates there are no rules. I've been here 2 years. I have never seen Tatu city dirty.
The development is not alone in having grand aspirations. There are similar projects around the world. But in sub-Saharan Africa, champions of the idea hope that new city developments can address the continent's urbanization conundrum. While the growth of cities has rolled back poverty elsewhere, this region has largely been an exception. History suggests that as people move into cities, productivity increases, wages rise, exports grow, and a country gets richer. But in Africa, urbanization has not unleashed such economic transformation.
Tatu City is a 5,000-acre special economic zone. We're right on Nairobi's doorstep, about 30 minutes north of Nairobi. We've got more than 5,000 residents living here today. Just a few years ago, there was nobody here, so the population is growing very quickly.
Tatu City also appeals to businesses and residents with its transparent governance structure and services that are often lacking elsewhere in Kenya, including its own water supply and energy grid. Unlike many startup cities built far from urban centers, Tatu City is 12 miles, that's approximately 19 kilometers, north of Nairobi, close enough to plug into its labor markets. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
Senegal's local toy makers are experiencing a boom in demand, with sellers hoping to win market share with high-quality products that reflect the country's culture and values. However, the toy story in Africa has been beset by stereotypes on the complexion of the dolls, which is now fast changing. Here's a report from Dakar.
This is one of the busiest markets in Dakar, Senegal. Toys, and especially dolls of different sizes, are strewn across different alleys. Awa Gaye, the co-founder of the toy brand You, launched the business after having a daughter and realizing there were few toys that made her feel valued. You dolls are adorned with African hairstyles and clothing and carry inscriptions in the widely spoken local language Wolof. The idea is still new to some Senegalese parents who sometimes ask her for white dolls or for writing in French. Another local producer, Rakidef, founder of Senegalese toy brand Alifa, is known for toys that promote Senegalese culture, like traditional wrestling figures or dolls that come in a wide range of skin tones, including albino.
It's important to understand that 90% of the toys in Africa today are imported. This is unfortunate, but it's a reality we face. Currently, Alifa focuses heavily on quality to produce its products. And when we talk about quality, we also talk about the price.
In Africa, unmasking the stereotype about dolls and their complexion has been a long-running debate. The creators of African dolls hope that their toys will resonate more with the children of the continent than the typical blue-eyed Barbie dolls.
So first of all, it wasn't like she immediately didn't accept the black dolls. At first, she said she didn't want black dolls because they aren't princesses. She called all her dolls princesses. And when we gave her a black doll, she said it wasn't a princess. It was a long journey for her to accept the black dolls.
For a long while, the business was going from strength to strength. Creators are optimistic that demand for Senegalese toys will remain strong, and they also noted that children often point out toys that look like them. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of World of Africa. You know the drill by now. Tell us what you would like to see on the show. Tell us your story. Reach out to us on all our social media platforms. See you on the next show. I'm Eric Njoka. Goodbye for now.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing. Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of. A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA. Join the conversation.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at yowon.com.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.